Before starting the video, I want to warn you that you should not be watching this video if you are weak-minded, if you believe that everyone should be nice to each other. This isn't how the world works, so I will politely ask you to leave. I also want to mention that reading this book will change you forever. You will not see the world the same. Celebrities, teachers, friends, and even family. Please click off the video if you don't want your fantasy world to be exposed. Now that I have the people that this video is aimed at, we can now begin. The 48 Laws of Power is a book that was written by a man called Robert Greene, and there is one crucial thing that I have noticed in the past couple of months. Everyone seems to know about this book. Maybe not everyone, but the majority of people do. And what does that say about our society? Everyone wants power. And you know, I'm not surprised. Power has been a motivational factor for many years. People want to feel above everyone else. But ask yourself this. If everyone reads the 48 Laws of Power, won't it become worthless? It will just become the same as everyone not knowing what the 48 Laws of Power is. So how do we overcome this problem? We study and use the 48 Laws of Power more. Regular people have lots of books that they only read once and never touch again. So if the saying, intensity defeats extensity, is true, shouldn't we be studying and reading the book hundreds of times? Well, maybe not 100 times, but you get the point, which is why I created this video. So, get your popcorn, get your pen and pad. This is 48 Laws of Power.
Law 1. Never outshine the master. Always make those above you feel comfortably superior.
The people above you want to feel more superior than you. If you are the best at something, getting all the praise and attention that you've always wanted, seeing your face on TV and social media, talking about how great you are, but then someone starts rising to the top, overtaking you in a short span of time, wouldn't you be out for blood?
Law
It might not be something that you wanted to hear. After all, it's fun having friends, having parties, playing games, hanging out. It's fun. However, it's really not a good idea to work with them, especially business-wise. You have no idea how your friends are truly feeling. You may create something, like music, paintings, or films, and your friends will probably say that it's good. However, an enemy will instantly point out your flaws in your creation, which gives you something you can improve on. It's something your friends would never do, unless you ask them to be brutal.
Law 3. Conceal your intentions. Keep people off balance and in the dark by never revealing the purpose behind your actions. If they have no clue what you are up to, they cannot prepare a defense. Guide them far enough down the wrong path, envelop them in enough smoke, and by the time they realize your intentions, it will be too late.
People do not care what you want. In fact, all they think about is themselves, how to have the best possible outcome of a certain situation. If you reveal your plans to the wrong people, they will do anything in their power to stop you from achieving your goal. Make sure you give them a bone to chew on, to lead them away from your plans by declaring fake goals and desires. weapon, which is why it's sometimes better to say what sounds right rather than what you actually feel. You and the people close to you might have the same opinions about the world. However, if you start pouring out your feelings and opinions to other people, you will look and sound stupid. Not because your opinion might be wrong, but because they simply do not agree with you. Instead, figure out what they believe in and adapt to those beliefs if the person is necessary for you to. If people labeled you as trustworthy, people would naturally trust you and respect you. Now, what if you were labeled as a thief? Will that label yield the same results? Of course not. The reason you should guard your reputation with your life is because if you mess up your reputation once, it will be very hard to restore, since everyone has already labeled you a certain thing.
Law 6. Court attention at all cost. Everything is judged by its appearance. What is unseen counts for nothing. Never let yourself get lost in the crowd then, or buried in oblivion. Stand out. Be conspicuous at all cost. Make yourself a magnet of attention by appearing larger, more colorful, more mysterious than the bland and timid masses.
Burning more brightly than those around you is a skill that no one is born with, it is a skill you must learn. At the start of your career, you must attach your name and reputation to a quality, an image, that sets you apart from other people. This image might be something like a characteristic style of dress, or a personality quirk that amuses people and gets talked about. Once the image is established, you have a presence, a place in the sky for your star. It is a common mistake to imagine that this peculiar expression of yours should not be controversial, and that to be attacked is somehow bad. Nothing could be further from the truth. Every kind of attention will work in your favor. Welcome attacks, and feel no need to defend yourself. The peculiarities of your character will attract attention. And once people become enthralled with your uniqueness, they will want you around at any cost.
Law 7. Get others to do the work for you, but always take the credit. Use the wisdom, knowledge, and legwork of other people to further your own cause. Not only will such assistance save you valuable time and energy, it will give you a godlike aura of efficiency and speed. In the end, your helpers will be forgotten and you will be remembered. Never do yourself what others can do for you.
World of Power has the dynamics of the jungle. There are those who live by hunting and killing, and there are also many creatures, like hyenas and vultures, who live off the hunting of others. The latter, less imaginative types, are often capable of doing the work that is essential for the creation of power. They understand early on, though, that if they wait long enough, they can always find another animal to do the work for them. Do not be naive. At this very moment, while you are slaving away at some project, there are vultures circling above trying to figure out a way to steal your work, to survive and even thrive off your creativity. It is useless to complain about this, or to wear yourself ragged with bitterness. It's better to protect yourself and join the game. So be vigilant and keep your creation quiet until you can be sure there are no vultures circling overhead. Once you have established a power base, become a vulture yourself, and save yourself a lot of time and energy.
Law 8. Make other people come to you. Use bait if necessary. When you force the other person to act, you are the one in control. It is always better to make your opponent come to you, abandoning his own plans in the process. Lure him with fabulous gains, then attack. You hold the cards.
The essence of power is the ability to keep the initiative, to get others to react to your moves, to make your enemy respond on your terms. This requires control over yourself, your emotions, your actions and reactions. To be in control, you must be able to slow down and plan your moves. Instead of constantly reacting to events around you, you want to be proactive, planning moves far in advance. If you move too fast, you can only see a few moves ahead, and you cannot see the consequences of your rash actions. This is the danger of being too aggressive, or making too many bold moves. Your aggressive energy will turn against you. You will be constantly reacting to one crisis after another as your enemies band together to bring you down. Do not mistake aggressive action for effective action. Most often, the most effective action is to stay back, keep calm, and let others be frustrated by the traps you lay for them, playing for long-term power rather than quick victory.
Law 9. Win through your actions, never through argument. Any momentary triumph you think you have gained through argument is really a Pyrrhic victory. The resentment and ill will you stir up is stronger and lasts longer than any momentary change of opinion. It is much more powerful to get others to agree with you through your actions without saying a word. Demonstrate, do not explicate.
If you're ever in a situation where you want to shut some people up, show them why you're right and they're wrong. Do not argue with them, because arguing will inevitably bring in logical fallacies. People have preferences on who they like and who they want to trust. So just because you know you're correct, and even if you are correct, it doesn't mean anything if you don't show it.
Law 10. Infection. Avoid the unhappy and unlucky. You can die from someone else's misery. Emotional states are as infectious as diseases. You may feel you are helping the drowning man, but you are only precipitating your own disaster. The unfortunate sometimes draw misfortune on themselves. They will also draw it on you. Associate with the happy and fortunate instead.
Those misfortunates among us who have been brought down by circumstances beyond their control deserve all the help and sympathy we can give them. But there are others who are not born to misfortune or unhappiness, but who draw it upon themselves by their destructive actions and unsettling effect on others. It would be a great thing if we could raise them up and change their patterns. But more often than not, it is their patterns that end up getting inside us and bringing us down. The reason is simple: humans are extremely susceptible to the moods, emotions, and even the ways of thinking of those with whom they spend their time. The incurably unhappy and unstable have a particularly strong infecting power because their characters and emotions are so intense. They often present themselves as victims, which at first makes it difficult to see that their misery is self-inflicted. Before you can realize the true nature of their problems, you have been contaminated by them. Avoid people who always seem to be entangled in problems. These people have deep-seated unconscious patterns of behavior and need more help than you can possibly give them.
Law 11. Learn to keep people dependent on you. To maintain your independence, you must always be needed and wanted. The more you are relied on, the more freedom you have. Make people depend on you for their happiness and prosperity, and you have nothing to fear. Never teach them enough so that they can do without you.
If you're the best employee at your job, then you have the lowest chance of getting fired because you literally get more done than the others, unless you do something that makes your boss hate you. Even better, if you're the best employee with skill sets that are highly valuable in the workplace, then you're really going nowhere. The harder the tasks that are crucial to get done, the more valuable you become. Therefore, the more dependent everyone is on you. If you somehow crashed on a desert island with 5 people, and you're the only one who knows how to start a fire, you best believe everyone will be looking up to you. So just put that information to normal circumstances and you'll see where you can take action on.
I suggest you subscribe to this channel if you enjoyed self-development videos like this. Personally, I'm someone who likes order and justice, but I'll let this evil deed slide just once, because whenever the subscribe button is hit, it gives me ice cream, and I love sugar, so please, don't hold back.
Law 12. Use selective honesty and generosity to disarm your victim. One sincere and honest move will cover over dozens of dishonest ones. Open-hearted gestures of honesty and generosity bring down the guard of even the most suspicious people. Once your selective honesty opens a hole in their armor, you can deceive and manipulate them at will. A timely gift, a Trojan horse, will serve the same purpose.
The essence of deception is distraction. Distracting the people you want to deceive gives you the time and space to do something they won't notice. An act of kindness, generosity, or honesty is often the most powerful form of distraction because it disarms other people's suspicions. It turns them into children, eagerly lapping up any kind of affectionate gesture. In ancient China this was called giving before you take. The giving makes it hard for the other person to notice the taking. It is a device with infinite practical uses. Brazenly taking something from someone is very dangerous, even for the powerful. The victim will plot revenge. It can also be dangerous to simply ask for what you need. Unless the person sees gain for themselves, they may come to resent your neediness. So learn to give before you take. It softens the ground, takes the bite out of a future request, or simply creates a distraction. And the giving can take many forms, such as an actual gift, a generous act, a kind favor, an honest admission, whatever it takes. Selective honesty is best employed on your first encounter with someone. We are all creatures of habit, and our first impressions last a long time. If someone believes you are honest at the start of your relationship, it takes a lot to convince them otherwise. This gives you room to maneuver. A single act of honesty is often not enough. What is required is a reputation for honesty, built on a series of acts, but these can be quite inconsequential. Once this reputation is established, as with first impressions, it is hard to shake.
Law 13. When asking for help, appeal to people's self-interest, never to their mercy or gratitude. If you need to turn to an ally for help, do not bother to remind him of your past assistance and good deeds. He will find a way to ignore you. Instead, uncover something in your request or in your alliance with him that will benefit him and emphasize it out of all proportion. He will respond enthusiastically when he sees something to be gained for himself.
In your quest for power, you will constantly find yourself in the position of asking for help from those more powerful than you. There is an art to asking for help, an art that depends on your ability to understand the person you are dealing with, and not to confuse your needs with theirs. Most people never succeed at this, because they are completely trapped in their own wants and desires. They start from the assumption that the people they are seeking help from have a selfless interest in helping them. They talk as if their needs mattered to these people, who probably couldn't care less. Sometimes they refer to a larger issue like a grand cause, or grand emotions like love and gratitude. They go for the big picture when simple everyday realities would have much more appeal. What they do not realize is that even the most powerful person is locked inside needs of his own. And that if you make no appeal to his self-interest, he merely sees you as desperate, or at best, a waste of time. Successful people are pragmatic. They are more interested in what you can do for them in the future, rather than your good deeds of the past. Helping someone in the past does not carry a debt of obligation. You have no rights to anyone's help. Not only is a man not obligated to be grateful, gratitude is often a terrible burden that he gladly discards. You need to appeal to self-interest, and that involves creating value. Every person you deal with is like another culture, an alien land with a past that has nothing to do with yours. Yet you can bypass these differences by appealing to his self-interest. Do not be shy in telling him what you offer, and how it will benefit him. This is the language all of us speak and understand.
Law 14. Pose as a friend, work as a spy. Knowing about your rival is critical. Use spies to gather valuable information that will keep you a step ahead. Better still, play the spy yourself. In polite social encounters, learn to probe. Ask indirect questions to get people to reveal their weaknesses and intentions. There is no occasion that is not an opportunity for artful spying.
People don't question your emotional beliefs and just assume it's 100% truth, because why would you lie about such strong beliefs? Well, Law 3 was about hiding your interests. Law 14 is actually receiving your interests. And this law doesn't have to be fixed to friends. Think of gold diggers. They're everywhere. And yet some get found out and kicked out. Some get found out but stay. But that's the guy's problem. And some never get caught. And the reason some gold diggers are seen as normal girlfriends or wives is because they use Law 3. Conceal your intentions. However, this law is dangerous if you slip up. If your subject finds out that you have been using them, then get ready for complete destruction of the relationship. It will never be the same again. Though, if your friends turn into enemies, this next law will prove to be helpful.
Law 15. Crush your enemy totally. All great leaders since Moses have known that a feared enemy must be crushed completely. Sometimes they have learned this the hard way. If one ember is left alight, no matter how dimly it smolders, a fire will eventually break out. More is lost through stopping halfway than through total annihilation. The enemy will recover and will seek revenge. Crush him, not only in body, but in spirit.
Letting your enemy down easily is like saying, I hope you do better next time. Translation, I hope you win and take everything I have next time. Ever played a video game when you were a kid, or chess even, and you were beating your opponent so hard that you just decide to play around, only for them to miraculously get back into the game? That's an example of not crushing your enemy totally. This law applies to everything. Sports. If you don't win, you lose. Business. If you're not the one bringing customers in, your competitors are. Relationships. If you're not being competed against, you're competing for someone else. This law isn't just physical, it's psychological and emotional.
Law 16. Use absence to increase respect and honor. Too much circulation makes the price go down. The more you are seen and heard from, the more common you appear. If you are already established in a group, temporary withdrawal from it will make you more talked about, even more admired. You must learn when to leave, create value through scarcity.
Everything in the world depends on absence and presence. A strong presence, shining more brightly than those around you, will draw power and attention to you. But a point is inevitably reached where too much presence creates the opposite effect. The more you are seen and heard, the more your value degrades. You become a habit. People begin to take you for granted. In small ways, without knowing why, people will respect you less and less. At the right moment you must learn to withdraw yourself before they unconsciously push you away. Always remember, what withdraws, what becomes scarce, suddenly seems to deserve our respect and honor. What stays too long, inundating us with its presence, makes us disdain it. Today, in a world of social media, we are inundated with presence through a flood of images. And this makes the game of withdrawal all the more powerful. We rarely know when to withdraw anymore. We seem to have no privacy. So we are awed by anyone who is able to disappear by choice. The truth of the law of absence and presence can most easily be appreciated in matters of love and seduction. In the beginning of an affair, the lover's absence stimulates your imagination, forming a sort of aura around him or her. But this aura fades when you know too much. Over time, the loved one becomes a person like everyone else, a person whose presence is taken for granted. You can also see this law displayed when a celebrity, or a politician, retires or dies. People who die are surrounded by an instant aura of respect. We are missing a presence that will never return. Likewise, when someone retires, they are often more admired than when they were active. There is an art to knowing when to retire. If it is done right, you gain any respect you may have lost and retain a part of your power. One path to power is to make people dependent on you. When they rely on and need you, they will be less likely to take you for granted. If you sense you are losing their respect, the threat of your absence will turn them around. The moment you allow yourself to be treated like everyone else, it is too late, you are swallowed and digested. To prevent this, you need to starve the other person of your presence. Force their respect, by threatening them with the possibility that they will lose you for good. Create a pattern of presence and absence. It's important to keep in mind that this law only applies once a certain level of power has been attained. Only what is seen, appreciated, and loved, will be missed in its absence. The need for absence only comes after you have established your presence. In the beginning, you need to be seen everywhere, as often as possible. First and foremost, you need a strong presence in the minds of others, and only then will your absence increase respect. Until a status of power has been established, absence is dangerous because if you leave, you will simply be forgotten.